Lost Canyon now has 6 marches that we roll with. They've been doing this for a few months, and it took me some time to get that figured out because I wanted to see what worked, wanted to see how it worked, and then I want to come tell you guys. So stick around as we're going to talk about all of this when it comes to Lost Canyon and 6 marches.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy War Daddy Chadsky, and I appreciate everybody for all their continued support and what's going on with the channel. If you like the channel, throw a thumbs up on the videos. Be sure to subscribe or consider it because it doesn't cost you anything. Our subscribers have gone through the roof. We are growing this community that we have. It is a fun, love, and positive community. People know that about me. They know it about my Discord. It's not for toxicity. It's all about having a good time playing this game, nerding out, and enjoying the mechanics of this game. And if you want to join that Discord, the link is in the description. And I appreciate everybody, love everybody so much for their continued support of the channel. And today we're going to talk about Lost Canyon. Okay, it took me a little while to kind of figure this out, okay, because there are so many variables when you add a 6 march to Lost Canyon. All right, 6 marches in Lost Canyon, you can run all kinds of different setups. I do 2 infantry with an infantry leadership and 1 archer, 2 cavs. I'm a cav player. I run 2 cavs in this thing. Infantry still rule Canyon. That's kind of still the thing. The best thing to use and the canyons that you're going to see, I'm in this KVK still with 1818. You can kind of see here leadership, infantry, infantry. You can see here infantry, infantry. And so everybody in leadership, everybody's pretty much running 2 infantry and a leadership. Okay, so from there it's variable on 6 marches because you can go 1 archer, 2 cavalry. This is PTI. He's an archer player. Okay, I just had him beat me so I could reset myself. I've been sitting at Canyon top 1 for the most of this KVK, and I wanted to show you guys kind of how this works out. So this is what everybody else is kind of running here. Okay, this is a unique one because this has got 1 infantry, 1 leadership, and now they run 2 archers and 2 cavalry. Okay, here's another one. Infantry leadership or just leadership in general. Then you got infantry, 2 cavs, 1 archer. Pretty standard stuff here. Infantry, leadership, 2 archers, 1 cav. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about what these commanders do. We're going to talk about the best of the best. And then we're going to give you some swap ins, some different things. But you'll see something here just right off the rip. You're seeing that Guan is staying in Canyon. And so is Scipio. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And with that being said, let's go to this tier list that we put together. We'll pull it up right here. This is the tier list that I've come up with, and this is not tier list by best to worst. I'm giving you a category over here. So you can see here on the left side, you've got leadership and healing. These 3 commanders between Trajan, Constantine, and Shajar, they are at the top high end of Lost Canyon. Okay, the players at the top of your Lost Canyon, the players in KVK with you from other kingdoms that are at the top of it are going to have these 3 commanders. Like just about all of them in some way, shape, or form. Okay, rarely you might see Shajar out of there, but these 2 guys right here are like a mainstay. Okay, and it's still the way it is. They're niche commanders, and Shajar really is too. Nobody really uses her in the field, so she's become like a Canyon niche commander. Okay, and so their survivability, their healing, okay, they're tanky. That's what these commanders want to do. They all have buffing too, so I could easily put Trajan down here in the buffing, debuffing category. But this is how we have this thing set up, okay? So then I have your high DPS marches or commanders. These are the commanders that do more damage than any other commanders in the game. I know Huo was single target, but I put him in this category because number 1, he fires off so fast, and number 2, he does massive, massive single target damage. He is the March killer, okay? And I'm going to show you why that's important when you go into 6 March Lost Canyons. It's a little bit different than Sunset Canyon, okay? These are the commanders here that have good DPS. Not necessarily great, but really, really good, okay? Ragnar does the 2200 does the 2000 to 3 targets. Joan does the 2000 to 3 targets. So does Scipio. Ragnar does the additional damage. That's why that works. Nevsky is still put in here as a good DPS because it's single target, so he's a March killer. Okay, and then Herman's got really good damage. plus he buffs a little bit, okay? So those are your commanders that you're going to see a lot of when it comes to kind of the next level of commanders in DPS. Then you have your buffing and debuffing marches. Philip in the 6 March setup is a absolute have to have. You have to have Philip if you're going in a 6 March setup. He does so much when it comes to buffing all the other marches, plus his march is going to be crazy good. There are ways that you can do that. Obviously, you have Milan. Sometimes if people are going to use Trajan, they put Shajar with her. That's in a leadership's equipment set for Trajan. A lot of times, they put Mulan with Trajan. Okay, the idea is to get Trajan last as long as possible, but also letting his buffs do what they do. And then buffing and debuffing is this guy, okay? Guan is pretty much done in the field at the highest of the high end. I advise new players in the game, do not invest in Guan, okay? But so many of us who have played this game a while already have Guan. We already have him maxed. And he is still great in Canyon. You're going to see everybody at the top, like I showed you, still having Guan. And the reason why I have him in the buffing debuffing category is because his DPS is just below good. Maybe you could put it in the good category, but his silence is what wins Canyons. It's what wins your matches. The silence is so good, and if you time it out right, this thing does amazing. Then I have your swap-ins or commanders you add for like a 2 March setup of that troop type. If you're going to go 2 marches of archers, you're going to either see Shajar with Zuge or Shajar with Herman, and then you're going to see Zuge with Ash. You know, you can swap these commanders in. YSG and Ash, if you don't have Shajar and people run 2 archers, they're going to run Zuge with Herman and then Ash with YSG. YSG still provides AoE, and he's an enabler when it comes to his buffing his own march. He gives the skill damage bonus of his own march, so that really helps Ash or anybody else you put him with. I put William Wallace here. Sometimes people don't have Constantine. Sometimes people need to run like a Trajan Constantine and then like a Luce with Wallace. He's a swap in. He's not great in Canyon. Belly can be good if you know what you're doing. You use Belly anytime you're trying to hit one target with multiple marches. You got to have at least 3 marches. That's where he really gets unlocked with his overall debuff on the target, where the target takes more damage. You got to have 3 or more marches hitting it. So that's hard to do sometimes in Canyon, especially defensively when you set up. I've got William. William is so RNG in this situation. He is revived with Arthur, so those of you who are running 2 cav marches can run William with Arthur. But dude, it is so out of the completely RNG, completely out of control, because you don't have any control of where William hits his AoE. He might set up in a certain spot. The beauty that makes William so great is that if he hits more than 1 troop with his AoE, his buffs get stronger for everybody else. That's what makes him really good. I put Alex in here and Richard in here. Richard's a decent replacement for Constantine on a tanky march. I say decent replacement. He's not great, but he can help. I also put Alex in here. If you're running Luce or you don't have Constantine, you can put Alex behind Luce, so you have some swap marches down here as well. I did not put any siege marches on here. Some players are playing around with the siege in Canyon. I haven't seen where that can actually work yet. So let's go into game, because now that we've talked about the commanders and what they do, the reason why it's so hard and the reason why I'm not going to say, hey, this is the best 6 sets, go. I'm not going to do that, because there's all kinds of variables. People have all kinds of different equipment. People have all kinds of different commanders. People have all kinds of different armaments. So you really, really can't do that. So let's go into here, and I'm going to show you how I set up defensively. I'm going to show you why. Okay, so in my setup, like I said, I have 2 infantry commanders, and then I have a leadership commander, obviously with Trajan, and then Mulan behind him. I put my Constantine with Luce in the off lane. This is very hard to kill. Like, you got to put 2 marches, high DPS marches on it to kill it quickly, okay? In addition to that, I keep Guan in the field, and I keep CPO behind him. Okay, you can put Ragnar behind Guan. That's another good DPS, and it might actually perform a little better in this situation, but I like Guan. I put Guan behind here because I want Guan to hit his silence in AoE, and let me show you what I'm talking about with that. Let me come over here to my history, and let me see our boy here. So I'm going to be on defense. I'm going to be on this side over here. And when you look at what my Guan does, Watch what it does. It tucks him behind. Okay, so if it tucks him behind, there's a really good chance I can get AoE over here and over here. Now you can see they went frontline on me, so my Guan's not gonna reach it, but that's the idea. You see how this Luce swung down? My Guan is hitting it now with AoE silence. So the Guan is hitting 3 marches with AoE silence, and that's really, really good. Okay, and so that's how you want to kind of set up sometimes if you're going to use your Guan in the off lane, kind of like I do. Okay, and so when I go defensively, this is what people have to understand, because Shajar can be used in all kinds of different areas. When I set up defensively, I set up and use Shajar, I bench Hermann. Okay, because I want that lasting longer. The reason why, when you're on defense and you use top lane, you can put your high kill march commanders in Huo and Nevsky. You can put them back lane of the top. And what this does is it's going to stay out of trouble. It swings up, and this lasts long. This thing will just kill any marches that come and try to hit your Zhuge. If your Zhuge can last as long as possible with Shajar, this is a really, really good setup to have Nevsky behind Huo. Okay, because let's go back and look at now the Huo and Nevsky. You look up here at the top, if they hit it with 1 march or 2 marches, they might be trying to tank it, okay? So they don't hit it with any of it, and I'm gonna absolutely 4-on-1 crush this Trajan extremely fast. And then I have my Trajan set up, first in line, second in line to be hit is Arthur, and then third in line to be hit is Zhuge once they clear my marches out here. Okay, so that's kind of how that thing is set up. Let's come into another one. Aziz is trying to hit me over here. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one to look at. So talking about the Huo top lane and how he stays out of trouble, what are they going to try to do? Okay, so they're going to try to 2-march head up my Zhuge with Shajar. I want my Shajar lasting as long as possible. They're hitting it with high damage themselves when it comes to Huo and Arthur. But watch how fast I kill his Huo. Okay, my Huo stays out of trouble. The only damage my Huo is getting is from his Arthur over here. Okay, so the Arthur AoE is getting my Huo, but he's staying max health right now. Meanwhile, my Zhuge is lasting long enough, but if you look at my Huo, I'm just punishing his. This is the March killer. Huo and Nevsky is great together, and Nevsky's great for Canyon. Okay, especially when he finally starts getting focused, he does more health. So they're running Arthur with William. They're only hitting my Zhuge with their William. And this is a really good march, and Aziz is really good. However, my Huo is still, look how much health I have in my Huo. And it's still just pummeling his Arthur. So I've just crushed his top lane, crushed it, with my Huo basically being full health. Okay, so now I put my Huo on his Trajan, insta-kill. Now I'm going to put my Huo on his Zhuge. As long as you're staying alive down here, instant kill. Now I'm going to put my Huo on his Luce. Watch what happens. When he fires, Nevsky fires, and then look at Luce, he's dead. Okay, then I'm going to put my Huo on the Guan. Watch what happens. When he fires, you're going to watch this bar just disappear. Fire, and Nevsky fire, and he's red. That's why that situation and combo really, really works. When you're in a situation, I don't care if you run 1 or 2 cav marches, you run Huo with the highest DPS you can find, and you tuck him in at the very corner because he's gonna stay out of trouble. The way it swings, he stays out of trouble. Okay, so that's how I have my setup. I put Arthur with Philip. Okay, I put that behind my Trajan. This is like my buffing lane. My Arthur is going to be with Philip, so Philip is buffing. I've got my Trajan Mulan up here. That is buffing. This is my buffing lane. You want your buffers, if you can, in the middle, because if they do circular buffing, you want to try to get as many of your troops as possible. Just little quicks and tips when it comes to this stuff, okay? So however you want to run this, you can. Okay, if I wanted to be on offense, that's different for me because I bench Shajar when I'm on offense. Let's just kind of go through some of these and how I set up. Now we're going to talk about attacking people. Okay, so what I would like to do, my goal is to always kill their Trajan as fast as possible. And so when I am on offense, I can't do the Huo trick and put him up here because he's not going to swing up. He's going to swing down and get more damage. Okay, so from there, this is what I like to do. I like to put Trajan here, and I like to put my March damage killer here. Now I can keep this out of trouble if I run this like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my Arthur. In fact, I want to actually run it. Yeah, no, we're good here. I want to put my Arthur in the bottom lane. okay? And the Phillip is not going to catch all these marches in the damage, in the buffing that he does. However, I'm not really concerned about that because I really want to put my Luce here. He swings down and hits a bunch of AoE. Plus, you got the Herman aspect with that. And so hopefully you can get AoE with the Herman. And my goal is to kill his Trajan with my March Killer as fast as possible. Then I can get on his Zuge. This lane up here is going to be really, really hard because he's probably going to dominate this lane. And in fact, what I want to do is change it. I just want to change that because I need more single target DPS, and that's what Arthur gives you, okay, than Zuge. Is that how I want to do it? Yeah, I think that's how I want to do it. And we're going to run it just like that. And so you got to kind of play and mix and match with 6 marches. This is why it's so rough. Like, I have a set in stone method when it comes to 5 marches, Sunset Canyon. But with Lost Canyon, it's so crazy how this works. Now, hopefully my Arthur is going to catch his Zuge in the AoE, and hopefully it does. So with that being said, my Guan, he's using the same methods I told you how to use. My Guan's getting roasted by his Huo staying healthy. However, my Huo's staying out of trouble, and I'm killing his Trajan. And so that is massive to me to kill his Trajan. Now, I just need my Arthur to last long enough for me to kill his Zuge. If I can do that, I'm sitting pretty. I might have to have my Zuge down here in the bottom save me in the end, but that's okay. It's staying healthy. So as long as I can stay healthy with some of these. Now, I don't like the fact I haven't killed his Zuge and he's already on my Trajan, but now I'm getting these marches killed. Hopefully I can get the Zuge killed before my Trajan gets killed. And so the March killing combo I have with Huo and Nevsky is doing work. Now this is where Nevsky helps, because now I'm getting focused. And when I get surrounded, Nevsky starts firing off the health benefits that he has. Okay, and so my Huo will stay alive a little bit. And if I can kill his Guan and get that silence out of the way, now I can put enough DPS on his Huo that's a little bit of glass cannon, because his Huo is a Huo with Arthur, while my Huo has Nevsky behind it. It's a little tankier, okay? So there's all kinds of different ways you can set up here. And let's go to the next one here. We'll go through these things, and I'll just go through all of them. These are all pretty decent players. 18, 405s in this KVK, so we all got pretty good players, okay? In this setup, I'm going to put the March Killer behind Trajan, but we're going to go head up with his Trajan. And from here, this is another tactic I really like to do. This is a high DPS situation with Guan and Nevsky. So since that's the case, I'm going to pull my Luce back, and I'm just going to make him focus my Luce. My Luce is super tanky. It's got Constantine behind it. It's got just about all tier 5 equipment on every single slot. So I got a ton of marches. I got a ton of buffs and different things. And what I'm trying to do is pull this out of the way to where I take no AoE on my March killing March and my Trajan March. If I can do that and I can stay alive long enough, then I can really focus on killing these marches as fast as I can. So from up here, I want to put the silence on Huo. Plus, if I'm able to do that, I will also be able to get Zuge in the silence as well. You always got to think about where you're putting the silence in the cone that Guan has, okay? From there, I'm going to put Luce behind, because I want Luce to clip all these marches with his AoE. And then I also want to put this front row because I want this to meet kind of at the same time. There is a chance I could get 3 marches with my Guan silence here. Okay, so let's see how this goes. We'll hit the merge here. Looks like my Luce is going to stay out of trouble. It does. It looks like Guan is set up here. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit his Zuge, but there's a chance I could hit his Luce. No, worst case scenario for me, I can't hit anybody. Golly, I need to learn how to set that up better. But hopefully I can still overpower him. My Arthur's going to get cooked a little bit by his Luce. As long as my Luce stays alive, and you can see my Trajan here is staying alive because it stays out of trouble, and my Huo is doing work. So my Guan and my Zuge kill his Huo. Huo's like the king of Canyon DPS. His March is always going to do well. So even if you go 2v1 against it, look at my Guan. Look how far my HP bar is on my Guan. It's brutal. But my Luce is becoming the MVP here because they can't kill it. And since they still can't kill it, then it works out really, really well. My Trajan still has a little bit of health by the time he kills it and is able to get on here. And so from that standpoint, I think it works out pretty well. I get on his Guan. I've got, oh my gosh, I got 5 marches, even though a couple are about to die. But I'm going to get that killed, get his Nevsky killed, and we'll get an easy W. Okay, so let's set up on how to attack here. this is how we kind of work this out in against Arvix. Arvix is obviously one of the best players in the game. I'm gonna use my same combo of Trajan Huo. I'm gonna put it behind Trajan, and I always like putting sometimes a high DPS of single target behind Trajan on my defense, but most players generally put Zuge here because they like to clip the AoE up top. Well, I'm gonna still stick with my tank situation. I'm gonna pull my Luce back here. Hopefully I can get his Guan and Huo way back here to hit it. And from there, I'm going to set up just like this, basically the same setup I had last time, but hopefully I can get Guan to hit more in the AoE this time. Okay, let's see how this goes. Zuge is going to swing around below Guan, and hopefully he's still able to hit the AoE to Trajan. I don't know if he will or not, but we'll see. So the main thing here that you look forward is making sure you can pull these marches back far enough to not hurt your AoE, which it kind of looks like I'm there. Maybe this Guan still might clip my Trajan. That's why you got to slow that thing down. And so, but from here, as long as look at my Guan. My Guan's hitting Trajan. My Guan's hitting Arthur. I'm getting multiple hits for silence from my Trajan. If you're silencing Trajan, that's awesome, because the less Trajan goes off, the better, okay? And now I'm killing his Arthur, so his Philip buff is gone, okay? My Arthur's still alive. My Arthur Philip buff is still hammering. My Trajan is in good health, but it's about to be pummeled here as his high DPS top lane just crushed me. But if I can get this killed and get up there to help my Trajan and my Huo, then that's the key. I gotta try to kill those marches below as fast as possible. That's why I gotta kill their Trajan as fast as possible. And so now it looks good. I'm able to get an easy dub over Arvex, who's got a ton of troops and a ton of setup, okay? So there we go. I'm in 7th now. Let's just work our way up here. We'll go through these attacks and just kind of show you how it does it. Okay, they got a 2 march. They kind of split their DPS. Because super high DPS on 1 march, you put a Huo back here, but now they put Zuge and they put Huo up here. So I'm going to counter that by doing 3-on-2 up here, and my Luce is going to last forever. Okay, so I'm going to put my Luce back here. I'm going to go ahead and go Trajan head up with my March killing march here, and then I'm going to put Guan here. Now Guan will last pretty good, but this Huo is going to start pummeling him. Okay, however, if I can get this Huo in my AoE for Trajan, that would be ideal. My Zuge is going to swing down. If you look, he's got Shajar, but he's got Shajar primary. This is not how to run Shajar in Canyon. You don't do this, okay? Shajar is good single target damage, but she is better fit in Canyon as a secondary commander to do the healing, okay? So let's see how this thing goes and work this thing out. As you see, we all come together. Hopefully my Guan tucks in back enough. Do I get this Shajar? I think I might. Do I get it? Nope, I don't get it. So all I'm doing is silencing his Luce and his Huo. You can see my Guan is getting pummeled pretty good. However, if I can get his Luce killed before he kills mine, then I'm in pretty good shape. Okay, so let's kind of see how that works out. Oh my gosh, look at my March killing march here with Huo, just crushing his Trajan. And then I get on his Shajar very, very fast. It looks like he's running Shajar with Herman. Okay, that's an interesting buff debuff march. But I've killed his top lane. His Luce and his Huo are completely dead. I'm already onto his Shajar, and before he even that's why having Zuge down here with Guan to try to kill my Luce, that's just I don't like that. I almost want to put super high damage to try to kill, because I'm just going to tank that. I'm just going to tank that setup every time. Okay, so that's an easy one to do. Let's go up here to some tough ones, and then I'll hit PTI. Okay, so let me put this up here. Okay, this is the super DPS one. Okay, they're doing the same thing. I'm going to tank it with my Luce and set this up this way. Hopefully I can pull his Luce back far enough so I can get some AoE silence on maybe Trajan and Nevsky. And so let's see how this works. But you guys see the methodology that I have. You see what I'm trying to do here. Okay, there's all kinds of different ways to do this. Ooh, my Guan might be in great shape here. Let's see. Got the Trajan and got the Nevsky. Okay, so I got a 3 silence AoE going on here with my Guan. Okay, my marches here are going to be so healthy when these are dead. because they're just not firing off as fast. I've got high DPS on that, and their high DPS is getting tanked over here by my Luce. Their Luce's gone. Their Nevsky, boom, gone. Their Trajan's gone. Their Zuge is in good health, but it doesn't matter. I've got all 5 marches sitting on Zuge right now with a healthy Trajan. And so this ought to be a pretty easy one. Zuge's done. Look at my March killer here. Watch what happens. I'm going to hit this Guan, and the minute this thing loads up, it kills it. Watch this. Well, it's already dead, but there you go. Love doing it that way. Got another dub there. Let's just work our way up. I'm going to go ahead and hit PTI now. I'll spin some of my jimmies for you. Now, PTI is interesting. He puts Shajar behind his Trajan, and he puts his Huo behind the Trajan. So this is very, very difficult. Very difficult to handle. This is so hard to deal with because his Trajan's going to last forever. Meanwhile, he is absolutely crushing me with his Huo. Okay, the only way to combat this is to do this right here. I'm going to put my Zuge here because I want my Herman to touch this Huo. And I think I can get him to do it. Okay, and then from there, how do I want to run this? Do I just want it this way with this? I think this is how I want to do it. I'll do it like this. Let's see if this works. So I got to try to get my Trajan to outlast his Trajan. His Trajan is going to last forever. Okay. He's got the Archer set for it. He's tier 5. He's got Shajar behind his Trajan. I got to try to clip Huo with my Zuge and my Herman and get enough damage on my Huo to try to mitigate the damage it's going to do on my Trajan. It might, oh, he already got killed. Golly, PTI. Okay, we don't get to see that one. All right, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. I'm going to tank this march down here. I'm going to set it up like that. Let's see, I'll do it like this, do it like this, and let's see how this works. Look how slow his Nevsky and Jonah are. So I don't think I can get the silence over here, so I got a bad position on my silence. But for the sake of all this, my Luce should last forever. His Zuge is clipping all these marches here, which is in a good position for his Zuge, but look how fast my killing march is killing his Trajan. That's the key for me. I try to get their Trajan off the field as quick as possible. I don't mind just hitting this Luce and it's staying alive because I'm buffing all these marches with my Philip, and my Zuge is doing damage on this Nevsky and this Zuge. So I'm doing good there. And so now my Luce's about killed, and since it's about done, I'm going to be able to survive pretty good. When it comes to my Trajan, can it last long enough before I can get this killed? Now they're on my Huo. Now everybody turns on his Guan. Okay, easy dub from here. All right, let's go take this guy. He has been really good. JLV has been really, really tough with me. And so from that standpoint, let's see how this thing works out. Okay, let's see how we're going to line up and do this one. Put this here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to see if I can get this to either hit the Trajan or the Luce. So back to that. I'm going to put this here. This will be really good to put Zuge frontline, because if I can get stacks on his Trajan, I'll kill it really fast with my Huo. Let's see how that works out. Let's see how that works out. Let's see. Ooh, this is looking good. This is looking good. Did my Guan get close enough? Oh, maybe not. But maybe it still clips this Luce. Let's see here. I love Herman's AoE. Look at that. 2 stacks here on Trajan. And then I'm already loading up the damage for my Huo. 4 stacks. Okay. Let's go 6 stacks. Okay, his Trajan's dying. So now you're loading up some stacks now on Shajar. And let's see if we can get her killed as quick as possible. My Zuge is probably going to get killed. Okay, which is fine. As long as I'm just kind of going head up here and then I'm tanking this stuff down here. I think I'm okay there. Yeah, I'm good. So his Huo is going to kill my Guan, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. I'm still looking pretty good on my health for my Huo. That's kind of the ideal situation here. They've got my top lane killed now. I've got a Shajar killed. I'm going to kill his Zhuge real quick. Boom, dead. Now I got to get his Guan killed. And I got to hope my Luce holds on. Look at my Luce. My Luce can probably beat both these guys by itself. But I think I got first. That's nice. Okay. Do I have any other guys trying to hit me? I don't think so. Okay. I'll let PTI hit me because I took a Barch away. That way I can work myself up. So, to kind of recap how this thing works out, there's all kinds of different ways to run this, okay? And so when we go in and we look at the commanders that you've got, if you run one cavalry march, it's got to be Huo Arthur. That's the best thing that you could run, okay? If you run one archer march, it's got to be Zhuge Hermann, or if you have Shajar, you can put Shajar in there with it. So that's kind of how you can run one archer march. If you run two archer marches, you can use Zhuge with Shajar, Zhuge with Hermann, and then Ashe YSG, or run Zhuge with Shajar and run Hermann Ashe or something like that. That's how you can do two archers. You can see how I do my cavalry. I got Delta stuff, or if you got Arch stuff, you can put it on Arthur, put Philip behind him. That's awesome. And then you can put the March killing march with Nevsky behind Huo. Just remember, and this is one thing I want to make sure and say, everybody always used to just fully subscribe to full AoE skill damage when it came to Canyon. And an AoE is great. However, having a one march that you can keep protected and keep that in mind when you're defending and attacking, that is massive single target DPS, that is a good thing. Okay, that is a march killer. That's why I love to put it behind my Trajan when I'm attacking. I want to kill their Trajan as fast as possible. Okay, so that's really, really good. If you're running two infantry, this is what you run. Luce with Constantine and Guan Scipio or Guan Ragnar. You can even run Ragnar Skippy. You don't have to run Guan. If you don't have them, don't worry about that. Or you can say, hey, I only have one infantry march. I'm going to put my Constantine behind Trajan. And then from there, you want to run like a Luce Skippy or something like that. You want to run, or a Luce Ragnar. You want to run like your best two marches that you can. The best two commanders that you can for one infantry march. So that's kind of the sum up how we like to do all this stuff. And it's all over the place. You can see in your own canyon, go to the top 10, see what everybody's using. Trajan Shajar, Trajan Mulan, no Shajar, okay? You can just go up here and see this guy's using William Wallace with Constantine and not using Luce. So maybe he's got it something figured out there. You can try all kinds of things. So there's no best way to do this. I just wanted to go through how I attack, how I defend, the philosophies that I use. And like I said, I wanted to give you the best options that I could for the tier list and that you see here, okay? To kind of really understand, these are the commanders you want to go to fight with. These are the ones you want to go get and go fight with. Never max a commander. It's for anybody in the game. Never max a commander just for Canyon. Never, ever, ever do that. Never do that. A lot of people have Shajar max because we thought she was going to be good. She's not good at all, okay? So I have her, and a lot of players have her. But never max one of these commanders just for Canyon. You always want to make sure you're working on KVK and field first more than anything. And with that being said, love you guys, appreciate it. Sorry for the long video. It's just a lot of stuff to talk about with the 6 March Canyon. And if you enjoyed it, be sure to throw a thumbs up and like the video. And until next time, you guys have a great day, broskies.